Welcome to that 80s show. Came in there a little bit late. Not a great start to the first show of the year. How are you doing, Dori?
Well, I think it's natural that, we're a little bit delayed, a little bit slower, a little bit, just chilled because it's holidays,
It is for, we could go back and edit it or start again, but why would we? Because that's not That's not how they did things in the 80s. So we try to keep that true to form as much as we can. Happy New Year to everybody. What are we? We are 24 years removed from the 80s, but we're in our we're going into our fourth or fifth year of that 80s show in this format.
It's good to see your maths has not improved. 24 years removed from the 80s.
34 years removed from the 80s.
Try 44. Okay, maybe 34 if you're going from 1989.
I'm going from the end.
So then it's 35, actually.
Oh, are we the 34th year? Is it 35 years of 30? Is it 30 whatever? It's all happening. It's happening in the background at Dori as well. You might hear throughout the course of the show.
I'm sorry.
A child, Dori's neighbor child, which we've heard about. If Dori's told me about the neighbor child before. She says the neighbor child will come out and the neighbor child will play in the garden. And the neighbor child loses the neighbor child's mind. But I never hear it. But of course, 'tis festive season. So the child is being very festive.
Festivus in action, basically. Yeah.
So we might get bring the child on the show. Bring the child on the show if you can convince the children to hang out with us for an hour or so. So we're going to catch up on a lot of things. We haven't done a show for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And a couple of 80s things that happened. A lot of, Dori, I've got so many viewing recommendations to talk about. Or not so many, I've got, because I've pretty much been sitting in front of the TV, getting good use of my subscriptions. You go through you know what it's like. You make your list and then you never watch it. And then, you just go back, I made that list for a reason, and that's what I've been doing a lot of. But I want to start off with the story, of course, of Last Christmas, finally getting to the UK number one.
And staying there.
I think it did a couple of weeks. I started off with
a few weeks. Yeah.
Did a couple of weeks.
Because it has got to the UK number one before, but never for Christmas, the Christmas UK number one.
Yeah, that's the specific thing. It's got there. So because to be UK number one is on Christmas is a big thing in the UK. It's like the thing, right? And it's always been the thing. And Last Christmas, when it was first released, didn't get it that year because Do They Know It's Christmas, the charity super single, came out. So that, of course, didn't get the place. In the 90s in the UK number one is always some sort of gimmicky, like Mr. Blobby or Bob the Builder. I remember a lot of those getting number ones in the UK. Then in the 2000s, Mariah Carey. She was just always getting the number one. I didn't hear that song that much this year.
I haven't heard it at all.
Yeah. I heard Last Christmas a lot. I heard Ed Sheeran and Elton John. I heard theirs a lot. Boney M popping up as always.
I didn't even hear Boney M.
I
haven't been to shops. So where do and I was listening to the radio now and again to try and hear Last Christmas because we were playing Reverse Whamageddon, which I think I won.
Good.
Let's just for the record state that I think I won. And other than that, I kind of managed to avoid all the Christmas music.
Dori, I've just come up with the best idea. Now, my day job is in audio and coming up with innovative ways to use audio for businesses. I just came up with the best idea for Take-A-Lot. Because you made a great point now. We online shop now. We don't go into shops. We check as 60 for 60. We buy on Take-A-Lot. Like you only go into the stores if Take-A-Lot messed up your order, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Here's the thing. What if over Christmas time, we get Take-A-Lot, we develop a little player that plays Christmas songs while you're shopping online?
It's actually really a good idea. I love it.
A very good. I'm marking this. I have got proof. If anyone steals that idea, suing is coming your way. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Do you think Take a Lot would go for it? They might say, yeah, don't know if people will like this idea.
Well, you know what I'll say to them?
It's one of the reasons they online shop instead of going into the shop is to avoid Boney M.
You know what I'll say to them? Okay, Take a Lot, you don't like that idea. You've kind of got a competitor coming called Amazon. We'll just go tell them about it.
Yeah, Amazon Music.
Exactly.
Tie it in.
It's a whole thing. You do the Amazon Plus thing. You get music, you get TV, you get everything. So that's me. Just fresh. I had a bit of time off and I'm just generating the ideas. A Boney M thing that happened. Do you think he'll mind us talking about his WhatsApp voice note that he received?
No, I don't think so. I think it has to be mentioned. It really does.
So our good friend, the celeb savant, he's hanging out with all the celebs, free tickets to things, he interviews them all. And about a year and a bit ago, you can go back to the celeb savant and he interviewed Boney M. Now, Boney M is...
He interviewed one of the
original members.
I cannot remember her name. Marsha, maybe?
Anyway. Marie? I think it's Marie.
I don't know. Anyway. Someone very important from Boney M.
So Boney M there's original members and then they change casts or they change lineups, right? Yeah. They still perform now. Boney M, Marie, I think it's Marie, and her husband.
I'm Googling it.
Dori is Googling there. And it was her husband, but her husband isn't the guy from Boney M. No, it's not him.
Not the one that you think of when say.
No.
It's Marsha Barrett.
So you were right.
Which is so funny because Marsha Barrett and Barrett was the one who interviewed her.
We should have remembered that. So
we should have.
Marsha Barrett's fantastic, and that's why his interviews are so good, because he becomes super friendly with all these celebrities. It's not just like a boring, those normal interviews that you've seen, those Associated Press type of interviews that are like, just run of numbers. Like he becomes friendly with them, WhatsApp friends, Instagram friends, like they chat. So he wishes them Merry Christmas. They voice note him.
Yes. Okay. So just quickly. She's living in Berlin with her husband, Marcus James, who she married in 1984, who was a guitarist in the band of Eddie Grant.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Barrett spoke about that. I'm pretty sure that was mentioned in the interview. That's not the first time I've heard that. I'm pretty sure it was in the interview. But imagine getting a Merry Christmas message from Boney M.
There's nothing... The only thing that would top that would be getting one from Andrew Ridgeley.
Exactly.
That's the only thing.
It's the only thing. And like Boney M are known for...
Or Mariah, I guess if you're a fan.
I don't know. I still think it's like pretty up there. It's like the Easter Bunny is sending you like Happy Easter. You know what I mean? It's right up there. So I was like, imagine getting a Christmas message from Boney M. That's and that's what happened to Barrett, the celeb savant.
Indeed. Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought up Andrew Ridgeley because, of course, he has been the face of Last Christmas getting Christmas #1. Okay. In the UK. So he was all over the place. He was on BBC, ITV. He was on everything, all the morning shows. Because the UK, those are still big. He was on all the shows, TV shows. He was like everywhere, right? And I love his career arc. And listen, shameless, starting off this year again, we're going to blow smoke up Andrew Ridgeley's ass because we will meet him one day. He will finally accept.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Right? So I'm going to start off by blowing smoke up his ass and saying that I'm so happy of his career arc because he started off very dismissively as, the other guy from Wham. People who didn't know.
Yeah.
And he's now and if so many books and documentaries and podcast interviews with people who knew them, like the one we did with Simon Halfon. Go back, check it out. It's in our feed.
Yes, exactly.
Andrew Ridgeley is Wham because he was inspired, the look, the dancing, the style. And George Michael...
Wham wouldn't have been a thing if it hadn't been for Andrew Ridgeley. He started it, essentially. He asked George to join him in this idea that he had to be in a band.
Exactly.
I don't know if there would have been Wham without that. You know?
And I mean, even George Michael, his persona was him just copying Andrew Ridgeley. He said, "I'm not like that at all, but I'll copy you." So I love it now that he's the face of Wham and like the Whambassador, and getting all like, I mean, he was, you know, inducting George Michael into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's been the guy getting front and center, but of course he's like a diplomat. I mean,
yes,
he shouldn't be a president, because a president's got to like make harsh decisions and be corrupt. He should, you know, Andrew Ridgeley is like a diplomat, like just, you know, one of those roaming, like, you know, when you put a diplomat like in Peru, you know, just
he's very dignified.
Oh, so dignified.
That's the word you're looking for.
That is the word.
Suave, dignified, you know.
How about this one? Time traveler. Time traveler.
Oh.
So if you want, we're going to put one of the photos up, that 80 Show SA Facebook page. By the way, do yourself a favor this year. This is the year, because we all start at the beginning of the year. We go, I got to get rid of some Facebook friends. I got to unfollow some pages. I never do them. So you're clearing up. Now you're going, oh, now my feed is just ads, right?
Yeah.
Like that 80 Show SA Facebook page, right? And then we'll generate that content. Because then other 80 Show stuff will start being suggested to you, and then you're like in a world of 80s. That's fantastic. So Andrew Ridgeley kept showing up on everything now because he's super rich. I know it wasn't the same outfit. They were very similar outfits. I put on the running order, one of them for you to see, Dori. He kept showing up in these white, like all white clothing. One was like a white and silver jacket, white pants. He looked like, kind of like, remember there was that AI picture of the Pope like a couple of months ago? The way he looked, right?
Yes.
That kind of immaculate white. Almost, you said dignified. I want to say like heavenly. Almost heavenly.
Angelic.
And, you know, and the white are against his beautiful color of skin. He just looked fantastic, right? Lean man, angelic, heavenly. These are words we are using. But he looked so futuristic, kind of like he knew all this was going to happen. He has either come from the future or another universe to our time to finally accept the Garlands. Maybe in his universe, he's the George Michael, and he became the breakout star. And he's just Did Andrew Ridgeley invent time
you're
travel?
Xanaduing Wham. You're literally Xanaduing Wham.
I'm Whamadoing them, right?
You're Whamadoing.
I can't believe I had to say that one. This is right out there. Right? Is Andrew Ridgeley a time traveler? His clothes lend to it. The children behind you think so. They seem to think it.
They're banging their drum and going, yes,
they're like,
we agree.
damn it, yes. Little drummer boys there in the back. They're banging the drum.
Bring it all full circle back to Bernie.
So I go check out the pictures. Go see, there's loads of interviews out there where he's talking about it. Go check it out for yourself. But I think you'll come to the conclusion that Andrew Ridgeley is a time traveler. And he's just a time traveler. He's figured out how to jump dimensions, multiverse. It's a whole thing. I've been watching a lot of movies. But his Instagram is fantastic, and you got to do this for yourself. Go look at Andrew Ridgeley's Instagram, because a lot of the videos, a lot of his press stuff is on there. But I found a video of him, because you know he cycles every year. I think he cycles from like across Spain. Like he just does these massive long-distance cycle rides for charity, right? Puts on.
I didn't know that, actually.
Didn't you know that? Every year he does
I didn't know that until I clicked on this link that you have shared.
Okay,
I did not know this.
Oh, no, he does that every year. He hits the road, men in lycra, him in his futuristic outfit. He's got one of those helmets. You know those helmets that go back? Like little spermy helmets? Yeah. He even has one of those. And they cycle to raise charity. And there's long distance stuff. So he comes across a kid. He says, this was my favorite last Christmas moments of the year, but it happened in the middle of the year. I wanted to put the audio, but it's very, very soft. They have to have subtitles, but I will put it, that 80 Show SA Facebook page. So he meets this kid. I'm going to read you the conversation that happens. So he meets this kid, and he says to the kid, do you know Wham? So the kid responds, Wham, W-H-E-M. And he goes, no, Wham. Wham who did Last Christmas. So the kid goes, now this kid, he doesn't say where they are. The kid sounds Scandinavian by his accent, but I'm really all over the place.
And when you say kid, what is he, like a teenager?
No, he's like primary schoolish, 8 to 10.
Oh, okay. Like a young kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the kid goes, so Andrew Ridgeley says, you know, Wham, Last Christmas. So the kid goes, oh, Last Christmas, yes. So he says, okay, how does it go? Kid starts singing Jingle Bells. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But we'll put that video up. That is Andrew Ridgeley. Of all the things he did this year, all the things he did with Last Christmas, he says this was his favorite Last Christmas moment of the year. And so they do two in a row? Do they do two in a row? And that's what we hope for. Now,
well, let's see.
I want to jump to New Year's Eve now, right? Now,
yes.
In South Africa, I know it's big in the UK. I know for a few years they did try to do it. These TV show extravaganzas on New Year's Eve. You see it a lot, like in European countries. But the United States have it as well, like Dick Clark's New Year's Eve and things like that, where it's like this 5-6 hour long thing. Like it's in an auditorium. People go watch it. They have singers, skit shows. They cross to like different parts of the country. What are you doing on New Year's Eve? Like I know the Portuguese TV stations does it. I know they used to do it on SABC here, but it's not a thing here. It's not like stay-at-home viewing. It's not a traditional thing. I wonder why. You think because our people aren't as good?
I'll tell you why. Because here it's hot. The weather's hot, so people go out.
But in the UK, it's still a big thing. And this one, of course, BBC, the big station there, the kind of like biggest TV station, has New Year's Eve rock celebrations, right? And this year, of course, because he's just the hottest person, Rick Astley hosted it, right?
Okay.
The whole thing's on YouTube. I watched it after this became a bit of a story. And it's fantastic. Rick Astley, front of a band, couple of thousand people. He's in a lovely suit, just singing all his songs, biggest hits of the 80s. Charlene Spiteri shows up. He plays.
Cool.
Rick Astley plays drums. It's a whole thing, right? And
yeah.
He goes through all his songs, and you're going, there's no Never Gonna Give You Up. And you're now watching on YouTube, you're going, it's getting shorter. Surely he's going to finish and Never Gonna Give You Up. Doesn't finish.
Right.
Keeps going. Everybody, Happy New Year. Enjoy your New Year. Credits come up, start rolling. You go, he didn't play Never Gonna Give You Up. Guess what? Halfway through the credits, plays Never Gonna Give You Up. He RickRolled everyone.
That's very funny. I need to watch that.
The biggest simultaneous RickRolling in the UK, at least. And he did it, and he knew it, and he loved it.
I can't wait. I'm going to check that out. Yay. Something cool to watch.
People on social media were shocked, Dori, because that's the level of journalism now, you know?
Yes, shocked. Absolutely.
What were people saying on social media? One person says, I didn't expect to start 2024 by getting RickRolled by the man himself. I'm not sure what kind of omen it is for 2024 that we began it being RickRolled as a nation. It's a great omen. Another one.
I like this large crowd thing that's happening, because remember there was the Whamageddon thing at the football match, and now this. I like the way it goes. Yeah, I like that trend actually.
Exactly. I mean, the consensus is if you start the year getting RickRolled, gonna be a good year.
I would say.
Gonna be a good year getting RickRolled. So I'm all over that. I'm very happy about that. I've ruined it for you now, though, because I could have just said to you, watch this.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. No, it's fine. I think I'll still enjoy it.
the honest truth is, you wouldn't
And
have
now at
watched.
least I know
You,
not to like worry. I won't be
exactly,
anxious.
exactly. You wouldn't have watched it if I told you what, because it's
True. Exactly.
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 So that is.
So you'll put that link on our Facebook page, right?
I will do that. I will do that.
So everyone can watch.
It's an hour-long show. Hour-long Rick Astley just being
Cool.
the coolest man ever. Now, Dori, like I said to you earlier, I was
Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of stuff. What have you been watching? Do you have a movie recommendation for us?
I do. And it's possible that you might have watched it too over the holidays because it is a movie that one traditionally watches over Christmas. But I had a realization this year that I have not watched this movie since the 80s. And while it is always in my consciousness, and while we always discuss it around Christmas time, I had only seen it once in the 80s. And so I thought it is time. It is time to revisit and also pass it on and show it to my teenager who loved it, by the way. Paolo, I am, of course, talking about the second best Christmas movie ever made, Die Hard, the original Die Hard.
So you're one of those people.
Yes. I had this discussion. We had this discussion. I had this discussion with my child. If there is Christmas in a movie, it's a Christmas movie. If the movie is set at Christmas time, it's a Christmas movie. Simple as that.
A true story. Then Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
Yes. And yes, I have in the past had my doubts about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But remember I said to you we went to a Christmas party, early on. We went on, I think it was the 21st of December. We went to a friend's Christmas party. And it was on the TV. The TV was muted, but Die Hard was on the TV. And I looked at it and I thought, I really need to watch this again. So I made the effort to. And boy, was I not disappointed. It is such a great film. And I had forgotten most of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, my kid watching it properly for the first time, because everybody knows there's a few scenes that are memes and just out there in popular culture that are just everyone knows. But to watch the film as a whole, what a treat. What a treat, Paolo. And I recommend it.
It's one of those movies that's weird to watch because over the years it's been parodied almost so much.
Yes.
I imagine it goes, I haven't seen this movie for ages, but it feels like I've watched this movie continuously,
Exactly. And that's why when I realized I hadn't watched it since the 80s, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I need to watch this movie again. And also, a little bit of sad nostalgia in that Bruce Willis is, not well. Alan Rickman is no longer with us. I kind of remember the stars and the legends from our time. But Paolo, did you know, I have factoids for you. Did you know who was originally asked to star in the role of John McClane for Die Hard?
Tony Danza.
And turned it down.
Tony Danza.
Not Tony Danza. No, believe it or not. But think about who were the action stars of the time. Think about it.
It would have been Schwarzenegger, would have been Sylvester Stallone.
Yes. Both of them were asked and both of them turned the role down.
I don't think either of them would have fit into the air vents. And
yeah.
I also don't see Sylvester Stallone running barefoot over glass where... who did I say? Schwarzenegger wouldn't run over glass. Stallone would have.
Yeah, I was going to say Stallone would. Yes.
Stallone would, yeah.
But, nobody could have delivered those really funny lines like Bruce Willis. I think he was just so perfectly cast. There are such great one-liners in this movie. But the best...
What's great about it is him being cast, because he wasn't, that was his massive starring role. That was his absolute breakout. And some might say his best role, because he kind of went and did a lot of different, he was very diverse in the movies that he did. But him as an action guy kind of worked because Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, they're action guys. Dolph Lundgren, of course, you're action guys, right? But Bruce Willis was kind of like, yeah, that's a guy you could have seen. Yeah, I mean, he's believable. He's more everyday guy. And you can believe that he's kind of like working his way through it, where Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're never going to lose. And I think you feel watching Die Hard that there's an element that he might lose, even though you never,
he might die.
Yeah, he might die.
I mean, at one point it looked like he was going to die.
Yeah, and you believe it. You believe it.
Yes. But then they wouldn't have been able to make the whole franchise.
Oh, and then the whole franchise went. Then there was the kids. Then his son was dying hard. Then the wife died hard. Then and like like everything, they killed the story.
But Paulo, I had forgotten. The man who actually steals the movie is the guy who plays the cop, the black cop.
Yes,
who he's speaking to during the whole movie. The actor's name, Reginald Vell Johnson, who stars as Al Powell, the LAPD sergeant who is his contact person, who I do believe does come back in Die Hard 2. But other than that, I don't know. This guy, like, what else is he known for? Maybe I'm like totally missing the
No, Dori, let me introduce you to the Die Hard universe, the Die Hard verse.
Right, okay.
He shows up in, what was the sitcom with Steve Urkel?
I'm looking, he actually has done a lot.
He's done a lot. He's done loads.
Will and Grace,
yeah.
Monk, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, CSI, The Parkers, That's So Raven, Bones. Wow, okay. I take it back.
So his...
I just didn't recognize him specifically as a big star.
In Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he actually kind of reprises his Die Hard role in it because there's a whole plot around Die Hard in that particular episode.
Yeah.
And what was the sitcom he was in? His main sitcom?
His main Family Matters.
Family Matters. He was Steve Urkel's neighbor who was a cop in Chicago. And that's where Die Hard set.
Okay.
That's where Die Hard set.
He was also on one episode of Perfect Strangers.
Oh, that would have been like was Perfect Strangers before Die Hard?
That's a good question. Yes, it was before.
Okay, yeah.
It was before.
Look, his biggest, because this was the sitcom that he helmed. All the others, he was like kind of a guest star. I mean, what's it? Family Matters? No.
Family Matters, yeah.
Family Matters, it was his sitcom. So that was his big one. Of course, Steve Urkel completely overshadowed him in everything. But
right.
Yeah, so take it back, Dori, because he did. He was
I take it back.
Yeah.
You know what? I never watched Family Matters.
Oh,
never.
I loved it.
So that's why I was like, who's this guy?
I loved Steve Urkel. Just loved.
Yeah.
Loved it. So Die Hard.
So what a great movie. Just watch it again. And you know what? We are going to watch the sequels. Maybe not all of them, because once you get to Die Hard 4, wow, it gets bad. But Die Hard 2 was really good still. I remember that. We're going into 1990 for Die Hard 2. But obviously, they were still making it in the 80s. And yeah, we'll carry on the franchise, We'll check it out.
Are you going to do one a year? And it's going to take you 25 years to watch all the Die Hard material.
No. But Paulo, regale me with all the 80s things you watched these holidays.
So I watched a few things. One of the things I did, I'm not going to do too much of a spoiler, but I did watch the Milli Vanilli documentary.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. What did you think?
I do not like Frank Farian. Oh, that man.
Hey? What a bastard.
We spoke about Boney M earlier, and I mean, Boney M just pops up randomly, right?
Yeah.
He is not a good guy. It would not surprise me if he's on the Epstein list. Let's just put it that way. I have not seen his name on the Epstein list yet, but Frank Farian, I haven't
looked at the Epstein list yet.
Not a good guy. Not a good guy at all. So that's the one thing I watched. Spoiler alert, Milli Vanilli didn't sing their own music. But more convinced than ever is that they were just two dumb, beautiful idiots who wanted to be famous and would do anything for it, and just got.
And they were threatened, so they were scared to back out of it, basically.
Yeah.
Because that horrible woman, she was evil.
And I mean, I can't believe that he then went on to go do like 90s bands like La Bouche and No Mercy, and like he because then I go, Frank Farron, I don't like you. Website under construction, can't find anything of him. He's kind of like, but not a nice guy. So anyway, that is the Milli Vanilli documentary. Then I watched two things that are very similar in nature, that had a nice comparisons. I'm going to start off with talking about a series from Colombia, okay, that I found on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. Yeah, that's Amazon, the TV, whatever,
Yes.
Amazon. Called Los Bilis. I told you about this.
Well, you mentioned it to me on a WhatsApp thing. You sent me the poster for it.
Yeah.
And then you compared it to 21 Jump Street, I believe.
I compared it to a lot. So it's basically, it's based on true events. None of the characters are actually real characters. They're all based on certain composites of people, but it was true events. And it's kind of like set in Colombia. But the cool thing is, the Colombian content from the 80s we always watch is Escobar. And it's
right,
like Colombia's burning. And it's set in Medellin. And it's just war zone. And this now goes to Bogota, the capital, where it's just normal suburban life. Where, oh yeah, we knew about some stuff happening in the jungles, but it didn't really affect us. Which is like so
we
weird.
were just living our lives, kind of thing.
And that's what these kids are like. And they're just like, yeah, we knew it happened, but it's like, oh shit. It's like, like a virtual war going on, like in another, part of the country. And here you are in the capital, just kind of just carrying on suburban, because you thought like every Colombian has to be, under the thumb of Pablo Escobar. And it's like, totally wasn't like that. Yeah. And it's a group of high school kids. And this is the relatable part of me, right? That used to hang out at a mall. And they were just a gang at the mall. Cool kids. Right. They're all like pretty rich. Their fathers are all like big businessmen, kind of like politically adjacent, lawyers, doctors. So the kids all have money. They go to this like not like an elite private school, but like a pretty good school. But they all like want to be gangsters. They're all like obsessed with American culture. It's mid-80s and they just love anything American. And they just hang out at the mall. And I remember that in the mid-90s, our mall gang that we had at Cresta. I wasn't part of the gang, right? So now the parallels are similar because Cresta, you don't know, it's the middle upper class suburban mall. It's not like the elite super rich mall. It's the middle upper class suburban mall. And it's surrounded by all middle upper class areas. So like Northcliffe.
But the most important thing you didn't mention is that it's kind of on the West Strand.
It's northwest. It's kind of just on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, in it, you got Northcliffe up the road, Fairlands, Linden, Montgomery Park. So it's kind of like, it's middle upper class. So all the kids and the schools around, they're all middle upper class schools. But again,
right,
the kids who now congregate from all these schools to go hang out at Cresta, again, obsessed with American culture. And American culture in the mid-90s was gangster rap, Tupac, gang banging, Snoop Dogg and all that. So everyone is kind of this. And then you got like the grunge scene. So you got all these like suburban middle-class white kids hanging around at Cresta thinking that they're just the coolest shit. In like Los Bilis.
Were you wearing bandanas?
I did not wear a bandana. I was not part of the gang. I was not part of this gang.
Okay.
It was a combined gang of a couple of kids from various schools that had been friends when they were in primary school, went to different high schools, then kind of came together. It was the rave scene as well. So, you had these kids in Boys of London jeans and retro 70s soccer shirts hang around. Terrorizing people at Cresta. No one was really terrorizing anything. If you went there and you weren't part of the gang, of course they wanted to fight you. And you're just like, Fuck off. Like, where's the Cresta? I'm going to fight you. What are you talking about? Obviously, you had to go to Smiley Blue. What do you want to fight me for, right? So that was the Cresta Mafia. And like the Cresta Mafia, Los Bilis are now, well, we're the coolest kids in school. We've got everything. We want for nothing. We want to be badass, so they start selling weed, right? Which the Cresta Mafia did as well. Started selling weed.
I'm sure they
pills.
did.
Yeah. So, this was started happening. And that's where I'll leave the Cresta Mafia alone. I'll just confine them back to the 90s. Just put them deep in the corner, like Gates nightclub. Okay, they're just gone back into the 90s, teenage 90s. So Los Bilis, now these kids, we're cool kids. We're going to start selling weed at the mall. And then, of course, they sell weed. They get away with it. And then they get involved in, it's Colombia. So other things start getting said, well, you're selling weed to all the kids. Start selling other stuff. So now the one storyline starts selling the other stuff. Now, there's two storylines. It's kind of like I said to you, it's kind of like Narcos meets 21 Jump Street meets One Tree Hill. Now, the One Tree Hill stuff with all like the teenage romances, I just fast forward part that. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see where they're these teenage gangsters.
I never watched that, so I don't get the reference, but okay.
It's horrible teenage stuff. Like the OC is horrible. It's horrible. It's okay. Kind of like none of the charm or hairspray of Beverly Hills 90210. So
got it.
I fast forward past that part, but I was watching the part of now where the kids where they're gangsters. Now that they want to be gangsters, and then they now get caught up in the real world of gangsters. And it's just fun. It's just fun to watch. Like I said, it's based on real events. There was really a gang called Los Bilis. A couple of the characters are like composites of a few people in the gang. The events were kind of true. My favorite character is a guy called Lady Danny, who is actually played by a Colombian singer called Maple, who in the first couple of episodes doesn't really talk, but he's there just looking like the coolest person ever, right? He's got this like Axl Rose hair, wears the bandanas, doesn't talk much. I said, okay, obviously because you're a singer, you're just there for the clout. And then later on in the series, he does get, because he's kind of like, he's not as rich as other kids. He's like a little bit on the wrong side of the tracks, but they all love him. And then he becomes a bit more of a main character. What I got to say is, now part of me was wondering this. If you their finger on the pulse of 90s looks, like aesthetic, in the houses, in the cars, in the clothes, I don't think I've ever seen, I think I said 90s there, of 80s. And
yes, 80s, I was wondering about that. Yes.
Their 80s aesthetic, I don't think I've seen anything as good outside of the 80s. Their wardrobe department, either painstakingly...
Even Stranger Things, because Stranger Things does it very well.
No. Stranger Things is 80s cosplay. This is so well, everything. And part of me starts wondering, say, Colombia's like South Africa, developing nation. So you're going to have parts that are highly developed, and you're going to have malls that maybe have not been touched in years and still have a certain look from the late 80s, early 90s. Because like the malls, you're like, could they have recreated a whole mall? Like, I understand you're going to have Amazon money, but Amazon money to recreate a whole mall with that facade.
Or does the mall still look like that? Is that what you're getting
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because, like I say, there's going to be areas where they go, okay, well, like I say, Colombia's not the world's richest country, so would you have developed that? And they just found the locations. They went to thrift stores. They just found the stuff. Because it is ridiculously authentic looking. Lady Danny's outfits, phenomenal. And nothing is over the top 80s. Like, hey, look, we're the 80s. It's just... No, this is how people looked in the 80s.
It's not like The Wedding Singer kind of.
No.
Over the top.
And not like the second movie I'm going to talk about. So,
yes,
you got to check this out. Los Bilis, the use of music. Oh, the use of music is phenomenal.
See, that's important.
Oh,
that's important. That's what was so great about Town Called Malice.
Oh, I want to say something to you. Now, Town Called Malice did some very interesting things with the music.
Yes.
Los Bilis isn't as interesting, but their timing and the use of music is just so good. Just so good. Like it is like, it's so 80s. The best. fantastic. Subtitles, so
Cool.
you're forced to concentrate.
Yes.
Great show. Fast forward past the teen romance stuff. Unless you like that stuff, then watch it. But you'll miss a lot of good clothes. I'm sure I missed a lot of good clothes. But I went to the gangster stuff, the time where they're in clubs, when they're just doing naughty teenage shenanigans, because there's still that part of it.
Yeah.
And reminding me of the Cresta Mafia. Then the next thing I watched on Amazon, it said, well, you like that, you'll like this, based in the 80s, is an Amazon movie called Totally Killer. We may have mentioned this.
You sent me the poster and you
yes.
said this is really cool.
Yes.
And I don't have Amazon, but maybe I'll make a plan.
So, Totally Killer is a slasher movie meets Back to the Future. So the storyline goes, this girl lives in a town. In the 80s, there was a murder on Halloween night, a triple murder. Her mother's friends were all killed and she wasn't. And her mother's now super paranoid over her. She says because she got a letter that says, we're still going to get you, kind of thing.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Through time travel shenanigans that make absolutely no sense, and they keep like referencing Back to the Future. It's not like a super serious movie. It's kind of fairly light-hearted type of stuff. The daughter ends up being transported back in time to this week, right? Leading up to Halloween, leading up to the murders, and now she must stop the murders from happening.
Oh,
okay.
Not the most original concept, but I like it.
No.
I like it.
It's not original. It's fun. It's quirky. It's in this 80s world. Back to the Future has just come out, so everyone they keep making chirps about Back to the Future, like how could that even work? Oh, it's bad. Or we'll never watch that movie. She's kind of like, well, I'm Marty McFly trying to explain to them. So there's a lot of references to Back to the Future. Cool. The mother, obviously, now she's the perfect suburban mom back in nowadays time. She was the high school mean bitch in the 80s. One thing you'll love about the mom and her friends is they call themselves the Mollies. And I got a few of them, but they're always dressed like Molly Ringwald characters from her movies.
Amazing.
A few of them I recognize, and a few are done really well. But you can see that all is done, even with the little hats, there's always like, they're always dressed like a Molly Ringwald, right? So that's a really fun thing. Of course, then it goes to the whole time travel thing, because it's a Back to the Future version of time travel. Something you change in the past directly affects the future. It's not multiverse stuff, creates another timeline, whatever. Change something in the past, something in the future doesn't happen, or vice versa. So that's what happens. Excuse me. If I have to compare the two movies now, right, because that's what I'm doing, both set in the 80s,
of course,
both recreated, both with Amazon money. Like you said, it's not over the top 80s like Wedding Singer. Totally Killer kind of goes, oh, we're in the 80s, so we're going to make everything look like the 80s. Like the Mollies, for example, right?
Yeah.
The 80s isn't as done as well as Los Bilis is. Like, I don't believe I'm in the 80s with Totally Killer.
I hear you.
The music, not as well. Music way better. Although, excuse me, because of the kind of darker nature of it, they do play The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. So some of the songs are a little bit more gothy and a little bit more new romantics alternative, right? Rather than Los Bilis, which is just pop hits. Oh, Los Bilis. The song used in the final episode. Watch the whole series just for the song that they use in the final episode. Anyway, jumping back to Totally Killer. So both movies, very similar, set in the 80s. One is a very realistic 80s. One is a made-up 80s. They're both a romp, Dori. They're both a fantastic romp. Time traveling. Take yourself back to the 1980s with both of those. So I said Los Bilis is kind of like Narcos meets 21 Jump Street meets the Orange County. Totally Killer is every slasher flick from the 80s meets Back to the Future. There's some great homage paid to the 80s. Very disrespectful of podcasters, though.
Okay.
I was triggered. I was triggered by it.
You were triggered. Okay.
Because in the town now, one of the guys who was the mother's friend growing up, he hosts, he made a true crime podcast about the murders. So he hosts tours.
Right.
He hosts tours around the town. People come to the town and he takes them around to where everything happened. And they listen to his podcast on the way. And now the girl meets with him to kind of talk about something. And she goes, well, you know, your father was a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. And he goes, well, you know, my podcast won 5 Podsies. I was like, it's very disrespectful. My wife lost it at this point. She says, you're the same. You're losers with your fake little awards.
Wow.
Doesn't help that he's bald.
That is cold.
It is cold. It is cold. It gets colder. It gets colder. Podcasters are not shown in a good light. In Totally Killer. But that's a minor complaint. It's a minor complaint. Listen, I think we are a group that are under attack. But you know, we'll take it. What are we going to do? You know, stronger together.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
So that's a lot of 80s viewing we did. I did a shitload more, but those are the standout ones. Dori watched Die Hard.
I have to say, they both sound really, really watchable, but I'm way more keen to watch Totally Killer because it's a movie, not a series, right?
Movie, correct.
Is it a series?
Totally.
It's a movie.
Totally.
More easier on the tongue.
Exactly.
And I love the whole time travel thing. You know, I mean, I'm a sucker for anything time travel. So, yeah, I'm keen.
Do it. And you'll love it. You'll love the Mollies because I think you'll get all of them. You'll understand where all the outfits come from. I only saw the main ones. I only saw the big ones. So great movie recommendation. But you know, listen, Bad Time, if you haven't watched like a shitload of TV and movies now, you're waiting till Easter again because we get back onto that hamster wheel. Now, having a lot of time allows you to find, I found out so many factoids over the past few weeks that I've been waiting to share with you and the audience that I'm going to go into now, called a segment just for today. Because remember, we used to play the game called 2 80s Truths and a Lie, where we try to spot weird 80s things. But 80s things are so weird. They just all sounded like lies.
It was a very difficult game. I mean, I enjoyed it. When you say we used to, is it over? Are we not doing it anymore?
Because the things were so ridiculous. Like it's like I found it so difficult to write a lie that was weirder,
more ridiculous than the truth.
Because you're right. No, that's just so bizarre. Like the truth is so bizarre. So one of the things pops up. Do you follow a guy on Facebook called Eric Alper?
I see him on Twitter.
Okay.
Sorry, X. Twitter. Let's call it Twitter. Why not?
Yeah, why not? He's involved in radio.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
I know who he is. He was out here for a radio event, and I missed it.
Yeah, he's a radio music consultant, works in radio stations in the States. Like he drops loads of great content, often share the stuff.
Isn't he also a podcast producer?
He's audio guy. He does a lot of audio stuff, right?
Yeah.
So on his website, the Eric Alper, he raises something that I never thought about. You know Tony Basil, who did Hey Mickey?
Yes.
What other song did Tony Basil do?
One Hit Wonder.
What else?
Well, it was a one-hit wonder, wasn't it?
But like really a one-hit. I mean, really. I mean, the epitome of a one-hit wonder, right? Eric Alper goes and reminds us of the follow-up to Hey Mickey. Because Hey Mickey was huge. Hey Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey. Huge, right?
Yes.
So the follow-up song, he calls it a whimsical journey through the world of retail therapy. Released with infectious energy, the song encapsulates the thrill and joy of a comprehensive shopping adventure. Right? So Tony Basil of Hey Mickey released a song called Shopping from A to Z. Now, I'll put the song on that 80 Show SF Facebook page. I can't play the song, right? But I'm going to read you the lyrics. Now, to understand the song, it's sung exactly pretty much to the tune of Hey Mickey. Okay. I'm telling you straight. It's basically Hey Mickey with different lyrics. It's like a beat or two different to Hey Mickey. So it's about the world of shopping, right? And hey, you're Tony Basil. You're a kind of like a young artist. You want to sing about shopping, not the shopping you think about. So it starts off: good girls shop, bad girls shop, shopping from A to Z. Good girls hop, bad girls shop, shopping. I went shopping with a list from A to Z, everything I needed for a happy family. Walked through the doors, give the box boy a smile, grabbed a silver buggy, and I boogied down the aisle. She's gone grocery shopping. And then the song goes into, I got A, apple, B, banana, C, chili, D, dog food. Snapped up the frozen food, chicken pot pie, rolling through the produce, that's a better buy. Satisfied the munchies with an open bag of chips. Lady with the sample says, try it with a dip. It's good with E, eggplant, F, fish, G, garlic, H, hairspray. And then it carries on lots of nonsense like this, shopping A to Z, and ends off with the full, let's see what it was. A, apple, B, banana, Q, quiche, R, relish, S, soap, T, tuna. What is this nonsense song?
Hang on, you stopped just before the difficult letters. Does he go till the end?
Oh, do you want? Okay, I'll give you the T, tuna.
I want the whole alphabet.
U,
yes.
undies. V, veal. W, wieners. X, nothing. Y, yams. Z, zippers. This song was released.
So he couldn't do X though, hey? Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do X. So you must imagine now, you are a radio station, because that's the way it worked. So you've got the new song from Tony Basil. Remember Tony Basil? She did Hey Mickey. So, hey, love that song. She was dressed as a cheerleader in the music video. Definitely going to play the song. It's going to be a hit, because at the time, they don't know she's a one-hit wonder. She was just a hit, right? And we're going to play the song. And they play the song and say, what the hell have we just played? Where this woman talks about buying undies. What a weird shopping list, though. Have you ever been like in a supermarket and you end up behind somebody, or even you've gone yourself and you're sent with the weirdest list of shit to buy? Like 2 onions, toothpaste, a nail brush, and sandpaper. And you're like, what?
Well, I mean, if you're going to shop alphabetically, that's what's going to happen.
I mean, what a stupid list. Because there's groceries in there, but there is also hairspray and zippers. I mean, this is just all over the place. It just stinks of bad planning. It just stinks of bad planning.
Right.
Something's happened in your house. Something's happened in your life that you're buying this combination of things together. I don't even know what you're making. J, junk food. She put J under everything. Just junk food. Just junk food. I mean, anyway. As we know, because we are now 40 odd years removed from the fact, the song wasn't a hit. And that's what happens when you think about what happened to one-hit wonders. So don't think about them. That is Tony Basil's follow-up.
But I'm really curious to hear this song now. I am going to go and listen to it after the show.
It is Hey Mickey with different lyrics. Done. And the videos.
What is it called again?
It's called Shopping from A to Z. Shopping.
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 Got it.
From A to Z.
I'm all over it.
I got the next thing here. I've got 12 outrageous facts about Twisted Sister, right? I'm not going to read all the detail of them and just give you the headlines. I'll give you this one. A murder almost took place backstage, right? So before the current or during the original incarnation of the band, a drunken roadie told the singer, Michael O'Neill, that he felt disrespected by Kenny Neal. Everyone was drunk. Someone grabbed a weapon and said, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill me? Big shenanigans, big fracas or fracas. Almost a murder took place.
Huh.
Twisted Sister. Fans demolished 4 clubs at the band's request. They weren't happy with certain clubs. Said, go destroy those clubs. Got another interesting one here. This is the one that they hung an effigy of Barry White on stage.
Yo.
to show. This was all during the Disco Sucks era. So they were like really playing, and the clubs that they told their...
Were they like trying to like have a more of a bad boy image than they had? Were they trying?
They were young. They were young. So obviously they were trying to do this. But even saying that, the band was sober. Imagine that, a hair rock band from the 80s sober. The majority,
like when you say the band was sober, all of them?
The majority of members do not drink, and none do drugs. And if they did drink, they don't drink to excess. They laser focus on their music. We lost a lot of ex-members who did party and found it a very inhospitable place to work. We're not a hospitable band if you partied. Hey?
That's
surprising.
Surprising.
That's surprising.
It is surprising.
However, Dee Snider was arrested for obscenity. So
that's not surprising.
So don't drink. We like to show off our bits. Why was he arrested for obscenity? They were in a band. They played to college audiences, poppy songs. It doesn't say what he was arrested for. It was just saying, that when they started getting a bit of success, they obviously started playing like biker bars and like dingy places and never changed the act. And now suddenly they're playing for college kids and things like that. They were doing the same stuff. So obviously getting arrested for that. Middle America, I can bet you that. Another fun factoid, find out, Alyssa Milano, and once you see this, you can't unsee this, was the visual inspiration for Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The particular picture that draws it really well is I've put it there in the running order. So Alyssa Milano doesn't know this. She just one day gets a phone call, says, "Hey, listen, we're doing the DVD release. We're doing some commentary on it. We've got a little like EPK, like a little documentary that we're releasing with the documentary, with the movie on the DVD. And we want you to voice it because we based Ariel on what you looked like as a kid in Who's the Boss." She's like, what the fuck? And she agreed to do it.
I don't really see it. I'm looking at the pictures. I don't see it.
Do you think I just wanted to slip an Alyssa Milano story in there? Do you think that's what this is? Okay.
Yes.
Look, listeners, judge for yourself. We'll put those photos up. Do you see the Little Mermaid in this picture of Alyssa Milano? What I want to know is, did she get money out of that? Because I would have been like, I'm suing you because you used my likeness. And you've just admitted it.
And then you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're kind of Disney, you know? So admittedly, I just wanted to put in a Alyssa Milano story. Get in there early. Now, we want to finish off. Oh, Dori, since I found this, I love it, right? We speak about Twisted Sister getting banned and things like that. A list has appeared. A list appeared over the holidays of bands that were not recommended music in the USSR, right? So
was this during the Cold War?
During the Cold War was 1985. There were numerous bands that were banned or faced severe censorship by the Soviet authorities, right? So there are bands in there that you expect, and then there are the reasons that you would expect it. So I'm going to read you some of them that you expect. So bands like Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, Nazareth were all banned for violence, religious mysticism, and sadism. You can see it. Okay, you can see it.
I'll accept.
Pink Floyd were banned for interfering the foreign policy of the USSR. Okay. Unless I would have said, okay, you interfered with the moon because you've showed us the dark side of the moon. But no, it's no. Talking Heads were banned for myth of Soviet military danger. Huh?
I'm trying to think what song they're referring to.
Oh, no. Sex Pistols and strangely B-52 were banned for punk and violence. Kiss for nationalism and violence. Iron Maiden, violence. Judas Priest, anti-communism and racism. AC/DC, neo-fascism. Donna Summer, eroticism.
Okay.
compared to Tina Turner, sex. Okay.
Right.
So what was happening in Donna Summer's music? I Love to Love You, Baby. It's all the groaning that she did. Took it into eroticism.
Okay.
The Ramones, punk. Van Halen, anti-Soviet propaganda. Here's my favorites. Okay, Yazoo for punk and violence.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Here are my two favorites. Right. The Village People were banned in USSR for violence.
Violence.
There are bands.
Camp, maybe.
There are bands that are banned here. Some bands that I've not heard about, but there are bands here that are banned for promoting homosexuality. Okay, but the Village People,
Not the Village People,
were banned for violence. Okay, I mean,
That's so funny.
Maybe they thought Macho Man was like, oh no, we can't have that. You know, in the Navy,
they were scary.
Maybe they were scary. This is the best one.
Oh.
Julio Iglesias was banned in the USSR. Okay. Of all these reasons, why do you think Julio Iglesias was banned in the USSR? We've got punk violence.
I'm going to have to guess like it's something to do with sex or eroticism, right?
Julio Iglesias was banned in the 80s in the USSR for his music that they feel promoted neo-fascism.
Is this a genuine list?
This is a genuine list. There are even Soviet-era looking papers here. Okay, this is either, if this is not a very good mock-up, I don't know what. It's even written in Russian script. I mean, and then translated.
Right.
Okay, of everything, you're going to ban Julio. I can see it. I can see Julio
neo-fascist
being a neo-fascist, promoting like the rise of things in people's loins. But that's why communism didn't work. That's why the Soviet Empire did fall, because of Julio Iglesias. Who knew? Maybe if they listened to more Julio Iglesias, you know, they wouldn't. The world would be a better place. You know, Russia likes causing problems, so the world would be a better place if they did just invite a little bit of Julio Iglesias into their lives. Dori, don't you think?
I don't think there's ever a reason to invite more Julio Iglesias into your life, but that's me.
Well, it's not my opinion. The opinions of Dori are not the opinions of that 80 Show at large. Everything that you have heard on the show, you can find that 80 Show SA on Facebook. Do it this year. This is the year that you have new Facebook pages and make new Facebook friends. Dori, it has been a great first week back on the microphone. Many more to come.
Sure. Yes.
The kiddies have quietened down.
I'm going to go watch your things. But now they're letting off fireworks because
I thought it was fireworks.
New Year's goes on and on.
I thought that was just for our amazing content. Thanks for joining me, Dori. Goodbye.
Bye.